It's Monday.
It is Monday, and it's cold out.
Yeah.
Yeah, so today we're going to talk about assessment tools, and we're a little loose today, but we kind of know what we're doing, so that's good. So did you?
Yeah, Stephanie's sick today, so Marianne and I are going to cover this today. So just so you guys know, Marianne, have you started recording?
I did. It just says recording on my screen.
Okay.
It's got a little red dot over there. Yeah, it's good for you to ask, but yes, it's recording.
Those of you that are joining us live today, feel free to ask any questions that you want to, or add anything that you want to. There's 5 different formative assessment, or you can also use them for summative assessment tools that we're going to talk about today. Formative, Google Forms, and quizzes, and then that's Google Forms and quizzes. And then another one's called Quizzes. A lot of people already know about Kahoot, but there's some changes to that are new that we want to talk about. And then finally we'll end up with Socrative today. And then there's a couple others that we'll just talk about. So everything will be on the website. I've been doing presentations at a lot of conferences about these tools, and so I've put everything in a some more. So can I share my screen, Marianne?
Yeah, should be a green button at the bottom.
Yep. Okay, so well, let me just go to our website first. If you go to our website and click on assessment, I've embedded the SMORE here. And these are all the tools we're going to talk about today. And you'll notice if you just hover over this and click on it, it will take you to the actual document for SMORE. And so everything we're going to talk about today, there's the link for the teacher and the student, this one for Kahoot, and then a tutorial of how to do it. Same with the rest of them. So this will be all the information that you need in addition to this archive webinar that we're doing today. So that's your handout, your electronic handout for today. Okay. Marianne, do you want to give us, I'm going to start out, I was going to start out with formative. Is that okay?
Sure. You've got the screen, so
all right.
Go for
Has
it.
Anybody else seen formative or used formative? Any of the rest of you here today? Okay.
No.
Well, I mean, can I put this away? Yes, okay. I'm just going to show you this. I haven't logged into formative yet, but this is what it looks like. And formative is different from all of the other tools that we're going to talk about because, first of all, as you can see just on their home screen, by the way, it's goformative.com, you as a teacher can see as students are answering questions, and this is what you're seeing over here on the right-hand side, you get live results. And then as you're reading what they, on this particular one where they are giving some feedback or some drawing, then you as a teacher can watch what they're doing and give some immediate feedback and even give them a score as they're doing it. So this gives you an example of a written response, and this one is a math where they can do drawing. So this is the only one of the tools that we're going to talk about today that actually lets you draw your answers. So I just wanted you to see how this is what the teacher would see. You see how the teacher moves the slider to give them so many points on their answer to the question that's up here. And that's a math example. Of course, they could draw anything. They could label things. And then I'm going to scroll down here because the other nice thing that's very different about formative from all the other tools we're going to talk about today is that you can upload a PDF or a Word document or a picture. And then you can click anywhere. And on this example, they are adding a video. So the kids they're learning about volume, but the kids would then click there and watch a video about volume. And then this is a worksheet that the teacher has uploaded. And so then the teacher just clicks and asks a question. This site is great as far as giving you tutorials. students can answer on any device. So if you haven't had a chance to look at Go Formative, make sure you check it out. I love it because, like it says, it's more than just multiple choice. And several of the tools that we're going to look at today, for the most part, they are short answer or multiple choice type questions. So, and then the best part is the real-time intervention, where you can watch as students are working and give them a reply. This would be great in a blended learning classroom, an online classroom, for anything that you are doing where you want to, the kids want to know that you are there. So I'm going to sign in to Formative here real quick. And so what I'd like you guys to do is I'm gonna start a quiz, and I know I've got 3 of you there today. So I'm just wondering if you guys are willing to take my quiz online, and so that people that are watching this later can see how you respond. We don't have to answer all the questions, but let me see. I have to make sure I can see all of you. So are you all willing to take a quiz? Yeah? Okay. All right. So I'm going to give you this quiz on the Summer Olympics, and I will assign it here. Okay, so what I need you guys to do is go to goformative.com/join, goformative.com/join. It's over here on the right, if you can see on my screen. And then this is the join code that you're going to put in, and caps really don't matter. goformative.com/join.
I see there's a Google Classroom button there. Is that correct?
There is. That's the nice thing about this too. You can share it. You can get the link. You can put it up, get the embed code, or you can share it right to Google Classroom. The kids won't even have to log in. But
Awesome.
right now, I have this one set so that if you're going to use this with teachers, if you don't have them in a Google Classroom and you want to show this to teachers, or you want to show an example to teachers, or you want to get some formative assessment as you work with your teachers, you can enable it like I have for everyone and make it publicly available. And that way, all they have to do is go here and put in the code and they're ready to go. But yes, Seth, yes, I'll shares right to Google Classroom. And Marianne, we have to remember when we do the other ones today, I'm pretty sure all of them now let you share right to Google Classroom. I don't know that Socrative does. So. Is everybody in? So once you put that code in, you should be able to start answering the questions. And then I, as a teacher, will be able to follow along and see how you're doing. So I need to hide this code if everybody has gotten in there.
All right, I'm in.
Okay, Abby and Sherry?
I'm in.
Okay.
Not quite.
Not quite. Seth and Abby, if you two want to, and Marianne, if you want to participate, go right ahead.
I'm already am taking it.
Oh, good.
I see my wrong.
Go ahead and start answering the questions. And once we get Sherry in there, then I'm going to hide this window, and then I'll show you what the live results look like.
I'm in.
Okay. All right. So for those of you that are watching the archived version, I'm clicking on live results on my screen while they're taking these questions. And now I can go down and start seeing how they are doing with their questions and what their answers are. So question 1 is just an image. So I will go to question 2. And you'll see some other people's names that are in here that were taking this the last time I did this. So I'm going to sort by first name here. So here's Abby's. And I should have taken all these other people out of here. I see Mary Ann's down here. So they're in alphabetical order. I can sort it by first name, last name, by score, or I'm going to say by last result or last response. That doesn't help me see everybody. Oh, here you guys are at the bottom. Okay. So I see Mary Ann, Seth, Abby, and Sherry's answers. And so I could then click on, for example, Seth's, and I can give him, while he's answering on the next one, I could actually give him some feedback here. Go up to the next question. Golf appeared in the Summer Olympics. This is just a true false question. Now, the true false questions, anything that's multiple choice, it'll grade itself. So you don't have to do the grades for those. And there's a video for them to watch about the modern pentathlon. And then this one, what do you guys think of this drawing the 5 sports that are part of the modern pentathlon? Isn't that fun? Especially if you're using a trackpad.
Uh-huh.
It's challenging. See, and so if you look at my screen, those of you that are seeing my screen, I can see as Seth and Sherry and Abby and Mary Ann are drawing those sports. This was a tough question, but I just wanted you to have an example of what it looks like to do the drawing part of it.
Yeah. All right.
The video link didn't work, just so you know.
Oh, it didn't? Okay,
It
I'll
said
go back.
It was taken down.
Ah, I might need to go change that one then. Okay. So I'm giving them their live feedback as they're working. And I know you guys aren't done. Don't spend a whole lot of time with the drawing part of it. You can go on ahead and go to the next one so you can see. But I made this sample quiz just so that you would have an example as you took it of all the different question types that there are and the different things that you can do, from embedding a video to putting in pictures to doing the drawings. The very last question, when you get to question 7, I uploaded a PDF, which was the schedule of the 2016 Summer Olympics, and it's very small. So you'll have to do your best to see if you can see how many sports had competitions on the last day of the Olympics. If you can't see it, you can skip that one. Can you see it? Is it too small?
There we go.
Yeah, you might have to zoom in there. Okay. I'm going to stop sharing my screen. So, what do you guys think? What do you guys think about formative with the ability to do a lot more than just multiple choice or short answer type questions and the immediate feedback that you can be giving your students or teachers?
All right. I like it because, like you said, there's just so much more on there than just straight up multiple choice. You can the drawing feature, I think, is going to appeal to some of my teachers that I work with. So
Good.
I can think of a couple right now that are already going to use that feature.
Great. Great. Anybody else?
How was the short answer scored?
Just like all the rest of them, I as a teacher can go in and I have a little, here, let me switch back to share my screen again. And go back to one of those short answers. So here's what I see for your short answers. So I could take like Mary Ann's, and then I can go over here and give her a score based on what her short answer is. If it's completely right, I would of course give her 10 and then click the check mark. But she got 1 right, so I could give her 5 out of 10 here for this one. And you can change what that scale is. So you as the teacher will be scoring those short answers just like you would scoring them in Google Forms or anything else that was a short answer. So see how that works, Sherry? Yeah, and the nice thing is I can do it while you're actually taking the quiz or the formative assessment. You could give this for homework, so students could go home and do it because you could put it in Google Classroom. And so as the kids are working, you wouldn't have to be trying to score 25 of them at the same time. It's just as they're working, then you can score them. So any other questions? Oh, good morning, Nate. I didn't see that you had joined us this morning. Okay, well, that's one of my very favorites. That's formative. And Mary Ann, I think you're going to do, I know we talked about quizzes. Stephanie did a couple times ago when we talked about data, looking at data, but do you want to show some of the features of Google Quizzes for those who didn't get to see that?
Well, okay. Let's see. I'm going to share my screen. Actually, Quiz was having a problem. I got an error message from them saying that they had some kind of server problem and that my quiz was no longer available or something. It was some kind of a problem, which made me happy. All right, let me see. Where's our, of course, my little buttons up here have hidden me. Okay, so back on our assessment. So if I do go, oh, wait a minute, I need to publish him into the, okay. Unfortunately, something's going on with mine. I can't get into your thing. Here's some more. But, all right. Talk among yourself.
You can, Marianne, if you do that little drop down and go to see the published. Up next to the publish button, yeah. Click there.
Okay.
And go to the published site.
All right. Thanks. I'm gonna not look good today.
Oh, come on! It's Monday.
No, I've got a couple of other things that are big on my mind. All right, so we're doing the quiz with the IZZ, right? That's the one I've done.
Okay.
Is that the one you're asking me to do? Because I mean, I'll muck around with any of them.
Either that or Google Forms.
Whichever one you want me to do. Okay.
Go ahead, right there. Go ahead and do quizzes.
All right, so I do actually have a quiz made. I wonder if it's still available after I got that little message. Because here's the thing about quiz that we discovered in that class that we're teaching that you'll want to remember is that, and here's the site, and I'm going to get logged in, that when you're creating your quiz, you have it open for a certain amount of time, and you get to determine what that time is. And if you don't note that, I wonder what I have. I changed my name. It's a big mistake. And I've now got a room full of kids. I'm going to actually move to another. I'm going to move to another room. So I'll be taking you with me, and I'll be back.
She's down in Fremont Mills this morning.
Can I sit over there in a corner and talk to these people? Is that okay? Thanks. That's okay. All right. Nothing better than multitasking. I'm back. Okay, so one of the things we noted, I think I was beginning to tell you, is that if you don't set your time correctly before your students have a chance to take it, they may not be able to get in and take it. Whoops.
I think I noticed, Marianne, when I set that up for our class, that the most you could do time-wise, I could set it for 2 weeks at a time.
Yeah, it wasn't long.
Yeah, and that's an online class that Marianne and I are teaching, and we were having them do a book study and then take quizzes over different chapters of the book. And so our class went for 8 weeks. So every 2 weeks I had to go back and reset the time, which would generate a new code, and then put that new code in there. So if you were doing it with students, you probably wouldn't do something over an extended period of time like that. But she's right. You do want to make sure that you set the time correctly.
Yeah, because we've had a little problem with that.
Yeah.
Right. So it's kind of gamified a little bit. You noticed over here it says join a game, and I could get into my quizzes, of which I'm supposedly have one right here. And evidently it's still there. One thing I like about it is when you look at it, you've got your questions that you created over here.
Mm-hmm.
And then if I click on my quiz, then it's still live. Now they call the quiz homework. So when you're making a quiz, you click on homework and that's what it is. And you can set the amount of time people have to take it. And if you're making them draw something or do a math question, make sure you give them plenty of time. I did notice that on a couple of that I was taking from students who made them. I didn't have enough time to figure out the math question because it isn't easy for me. Mm-hmm. The other thing that you can do with this one is you can make it a slideshow. You can print it off if you wanted to. You can share it with the link, tweet it out, all of that. I don't think it has an embed quality to put it in Google Classroom. I don't believe that it does. But
Marianne, click on home, just out of curiosity, click on homework. Mm-hmm. And I think it's there when you do that. Go ahead and click proceed. Don't worry about doing the settings. I think from here you can then send it to Google Classroom, but I'm not sure. Yeah.
Oh, you can. Yeah, thanks. Yeah.
But it has to be homework as opposed to do it live.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the other thing is it has a join link, just mm-hmm. like all of them. They all have codes to put it in.
Right.
And let's see, what else about quizzes? Let's just create one quickly. I won't make you take the one I just did. So you can add an image. I always like that. You can add an image so it would kind of code it for kids so that they'd know which one it was. So any image that you have on your computer you can get. And since I was just doing this one, we'll add that. Name it.
I like too that whenever you do a quiz with this one and several others, I think it's very visually more pleasing for kids to take a quiz if every question has some type of picture that goes with it, whether it applies to the question or not. If it applies, that'd be even better. But it's just more visually attractive if you can add images each time.
And you can make it public or private. Yeah. Change the language. Done. The kinds of questions you can ask are, textual. You can add an image to the question. I don't think you can add a video to this one. Do you?
No, I don't think so. I don't think you can.
When we get to Kahoot, you can add a video in that one, which is a new feature. That's nice. What else?
This is just multiple choice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And there's the timer right up above add image for the question.
Thanks. And so really, why won't you just give them 15 minutes each one? They're not going to use it, but if they need it, they've got it. I would think that'd be a good way to differentiate. So as you're doing it, I'm going to go back. My quiz is finished. We're done. Good enough. Okay. So if I go back to my quizzes, my homepage, I hope this is it. And I go to my quizzes. I don't know if anybody's taken my quiz. You see, here's my picture that showed up. So if I look at my quiz, do I have any results?
Yeah, if you go up to my reports.
Oh, see, thanks for helping me.
You're welcome.
Okay, so no, nobody's taken my quizzes, 0%, so that's not going to do any good. I can view it from here. Nope. I can also trash it from here. So if you want to get rid of it or edit it, maybe it didn't work out. Find out how many players. Here's the date of the quiz. That's the thing you want to watch out for, at least in our experience. So I know that that's not a whole lot about it, but it's just basically adding questions, giving kids the codes. Good that you can add it into your Google Classroom. It's not gamified like Kahoot, so you don't get leaderboards and that sort of thing. So I'm not quite sure why they call it a game.
Well, it is if you play live. If you play live, you can give them, they can get a score.
Okay. All right.
Can you click on public, Marianne? Because I think one of the things that teachers really like is not having to spend the time on their own.
Yeah.
And so you'll notice there's a search for quizzes that other teachers have already done.
Mm-hmm.
You want to go and do that, Marianne?
What do you want to search for? Math. And what grade do you like? Elementary. All right, so here's a math quiz for elementary right here. And she's got them set to 30 seconds. It's just not enough time, in my opinion.
Yeah, and she doesn't have any pictures with, well, we don't know if she has it with hers. But anyway, there's thousands and thousands of quizzes that the public has, other teachers have already done. So for this one and Kahoot, and those are the two main ones that you're going to find. You need to check the quiz. I've seen teachers just go, oh, I'll use this one without even looking at the questions. And the answers might not even be right, or they've had kids create the quiz. So make sure you check those before you use them. But
well, another thing about this one is I don't know that you have to connect it to standards. You can't search it by standards.
No.
And in some of these, I don't think the products we're going to look at today, but sometimes you can search by standards, which is really good.
Right. Now this one, is this the one, Marianne, where if you get a question right or wrong, there's a meme that pops up and has funny sayings on it. And right now,
it's that you can choose to add those memes or not. Thank you for reminding me, because one of the things I noticed when I was taking some of our students' quizzes just to check and make sure that they'd done it, the memes were kind of mean, I thought, and rude. I would not use them with kids. It kind of makes fun of you because you got the answer wrong. I mean, I personally took offense.
Oh, well, I don't know. I think I had a seventh grade math teacher that was using quizzes, and his kids thought that the memes for the wrong answers were funnier than the memes if they got it right. And so they started getting them all wrong on purpose just so they could read them and see the memes.
No, well, that's not good either. I didn't see where you can make your own memes. Could you?
Oh, you can, yeah.
You can. Okay.
Yeah, up there at the top in the toolbar, it says My Memes, and you can make your.
All right. Well, then that would be better, because personally, I was offended when I took the quiz. Yeah. And the only reason I made a quiz is because I was trying to figure out why I couldn't get into anybody else's quiz. That's when I discovered the time thing.
Yep.
Okay. Well, hopefully that was somewhat good for you guys. Stop share. And I'm sure you have a lot of questions.
Yeah.
But it has some good tutorials. It does have that.
They all have really good tutorials.
Yeah.
And I've got a lot of teachers who've been doing Kahoot for a long time, and their kids are kind of like, okay, another Kahoot. They really like it, but they want something different. And the teachers really like quizzes also. So that's a good one.
I think most of our we have like 20 some people taking this class, and they all have to make a formative assessment. I'd say more than half picked quizzes. However, that's why we can't get into any of them, because the time has run out.
Yeah. Yep. Okay.
And then when you go back, this is another thing I think I noticed. When you go back in and reset the time, it's a different code.
Really?
Yep.
I think that's true.
Yeah, it is true. And so not only do you have to reset the time, but then you have to send out another code. And that's confusing to everybody.
Yeah. But like I said, though, we're doing our class over, 2 or 3 months time, as opposed to teachers in real life that would say, you know, this is homework and I want it done by Friday. And
Yeah,
so
but
they would
you might do that a month out, thinking, okay, here's going to be the quiz that goes with this. If you do it a month out, your time's going to run out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just something to
Okay.
be aware of because it wasn't happy. All right.
Okay, so the next one let's look at is Kahoot, and I'll share my screen.
I was doing Kahoot. You told me I had to do Kahoot because I was ready for Kahoot. I was not told I had to do quizzes. You assigned me Kahoot.
Okay,
If
you
you
do
want
Kahoot
to.
now. Go ahead.
I hope I can do a little bit better on it. Because I looked at it a minute ago. All right, so Kahoot, better or worse? I was excited in Kahoot that you could share you could do what am I going to say?
Video.
A video. All right, so the one thing about Kahoot that if you go to, this is the confusing thing about Kahoot for some people. If you just Google Kahoot, you usually get the student one, which is a join Kahoot. So you want to, where can I create it? You have to go to create Kahoot it, or if you're Googling it, make sure you put in create a Kahoot. Because if you just put in Kahoot, it sends you off to the student version, which
Right.
is not what you want. So
And in the more that I made for today, it's got both the link for the teacher, which is kahoot.it, Kahoot it, and then
I'll go find that. I really wish that my little lines across the top were not where I needed to click. Okay, so in the some more. Whoops.
Yeah, that is the some more, Marianne, up at the top in your tab.
I know, but I can't get up there now.
The little flame on it.
Okay. All right. Well, it went away now, so I think I can. Oh, no. All right. I'm just going to go get it open again
Okay.
and hopefully to show it. Yep. All right. So what we're talking about is Get Kahoot is for the teacher and this Kahoot it is for the students. And truly, if you do Google Kahoot, it'll give you the student one. And then you're like, what? All right. So anyway, I've got a Kahoot done. That I just kind of started it, and then I didn't finish it because I wanted to see what was happened at the end. So I kind of like to go back and do something with it. I probably can't. Wonder if I could just go back. All right, here's my Create a Kahoot. So one thing in Kahoot is you can put a cover on it. So I liked that. And I just went out and got a legal Google image. And I'm teaching Scratch tomorrow. That's why I'm a little hysterical. And to 8th graders. Not that 8th graders are going to be bad, but me teaching Scratch is a little hysterical. But anyway, so I had a little Kahoot on Scratch. So that's my Scratch image. You can have it visible to everyone or only to me. I don't know why. Maybe while you're building it, you don't want anybody to see it. This one over here, you have to set the audience, and you have a kind of a wide variety. So I was struggling between school and training. And this I liked. I don't know if this was in before, but if you take something from somebody else and you need to give credit to it, you can give credit where credit is due. And if you wanted to give kids any kind of instructions, you can make a little video and throw that in, or any other kind of introductory video to your Kahoot. I didn't do that. So my next one is then I created my questions, and I'm going to edit my questions so you can see what they are. I didn't put a picture in here. It would have looked better. So this one's just true or false. And I'm linear, so I read down. I don't read across. So the first thing that happened to me was I answered it 1 and 3. So then it told me you don't have an answer for 2. You can't go on. So you have to go across. I mean, if you are like me. You can set your time limit. And again, you can give more credits. I really like that credit thing. It teaches correct digital citizenship.
Mm-hmm.
This one is, again, this one's a true or false one, or not to this multiple choice, so same kind of thing. But the next one is the one where I embedded a video. And when you embed a video, you don't embed the whole thing. It says from where do you want to play it? From here to here. Watch the video and then answer the questions and whatever the video was. So I thought that was really interesting.
Mhm.
And the other interesting about that was, you know how video will be 1 minute and 20 seconds, 2 minutes. You have to convert that to seconds. So then there's a little math involved. How many seconds in a minute? So that sort of thing. So I thought that was interesting. Then I was done and saved. And that was it. So now when you get into this screen, you can preview it. There's a problem with previewing it. I was going to preview it. It was all set to go. And I'm loading it. And it's going to be a classic. And I was ready to join it or whatever, get my phone out. And I wanted to start it to see what it would look like. You see, it won't let me start it without having any players. So I hate this. So I'm going to go back.
Well, let me just help you with this
Okay,
so that other
please.
people know. On the right-hand side, they've given you an example phone. So you're going to put that game pin over to
Oh,
the
okay.
right.
Okay, see,
Go ahead and do
that's
it
a
so they
learning
can
all
see.
the way around
Yep.
here.
So you don't
Okay.
need to get your phone out. You're using their little example phone there, just so you can see what your questions and everything.
Well, they should have told me that. Maybe
Yeah,
they might have.
I think that's kind of cool.
A nickname. Okay.
Yeah. So this is just so you can try your own game. See, now you're in. Marv.
Oh, okay.
Marv.
This is great.
So remember with Kahoot, they have to be able to see your screen. With several of the others like formative and quizzes, the kids don't need to see the teacher's screen in order to take the quizzes. So this one they do though.
One of the things, I think actually Kahoot could drive kids nuts with the fact that you can't see anything but these colors. I'll just put one down. Whoops.
However, for really little kids, it's very helpful.
Is? I just don't like it.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see what my video looks like. That's where I want to be. Okay, my video's coming up. Okay, so can we play the video?
It plays automatically. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, that's great. Okay. Wow, that was great. Okay, well, I'm going to stop my share because I think the video part was worth my time.
Well, can you go back to your home screen, your teacher screen? Because again, there's thousands and actually millions of public Kahoots that teachers can choose from without having to create one from scratch. Let's show them that.
Let's see. I think I'm into the teacher screen right here.
Mm-hmm. But you got to sign in.
Oh, I thought it was logged in. All right. Well, bear with me while I try to. It logged me in. Thank God. All right.
Okay, so you notice at the very top, Marianne's got 6 Kahoots that she's done. Mm-hmm. And then it says public Kahoots, 12.6 million. So this is by far the most popular of the game type online formative assessments. Go ahead and click on that, Marianne.
Okay.
And again, you can search by title, subject, tag, username, or whatever.
Any subject anybody cares about. How about social studies? The new standards are coming out.
Put something more specific like the Civil War or something in there.
Okay. How about, I'm reading the book on the Wright brothers.
Okay.
All ages. Let's just leave it at that.
Yeah.
See if anybody did the Wright brothers. Oh, look at that. Somebody did. Maybe I could pass this one.
Yeah. So without even having to create one yourself, you as a teacher could, again, you'd want to look at the questions and before you play it. So Marianne, just click on the Wright brothers there, that first one. Because that lets you scroll down below and look at the different questions and the answers that they have and the seconds that this teacher has set. If you want to change any of that.
I do this one. They can't even spell there right.
No, I know. Remember, this is Kahoot lets students make
they do.
make quizzes too, and it doesn't say whether it was created by a student or not. So you do need to check those. But if you want to, like, for example, if I liked everything about that except they're not spelling the word there correctly every time, which I can see, then I would click on the duplicate button then that would make it my quiz. I would have all their stuff, but I could edit it. If you don't duplicate it, you can't edit it. So once Marianne has duplicated it, then she can continue editing and go in and just fix some grammatical errors, but if everything else is correct.
Yeah.
So that then goes under Marianne's Kahoots instead of public Kahoots. So that's why I think teachers really love this, is because, you know, at the drop of a hat, it's cold outside and they can't go to recess, or they just want to do a quick formative assessment. They can pull up a Kahoot really fast without having to make one from scratch.
Now,
How many of you have used Kahoot? Have you used it? Abby or Sherry? Seth? I know you guys are all muted, so
Yes, I have used Kahoot.
yeah, good.
now, has anybody used it for discussion? I thought that might be interesting. I didn't do it when I created my quiz, but initiate and facilitate a debate. I mean, that might be interesting, because that wouldn't be gamified.
Right.
Something to try out. Go ahead.
And
You guys try it out and report back.
Okay.
And a survey, I could see a survey. But discussion, I thought, well, that should be interesting. All right. So that's Kahoot. We had a few things in there that I really liked the video. That was easy to do, by the way.
Yeah. Yeah, I like the fact that all of them have really good tutorial videos that go with them. So, all right, so we've looked at formative, we've looked at quizzes and Kahoot. And so the next one we're gonna look at is Google quizzes, which is new. So were you gonna do that one, Marianne, or was I?
I'm going to do it because I have to do some things here at Fremont Mills.
Well, why don't you let me do, or I can do forms and Socrative, and you can go do what you need to do.
All right, I'll just leave you on here.
Okay.
And you can text me when you're done.
Okay.
And I'll shut off my
recording, you guys.
I'm recording. I've got the power here.
Okay.
All right.
All right, so I will share my screen. Okay, so I'm gonna go to, I think I'll skip over to Socrative since I have it right here. Socrative lets you do lots of things. A few things that I like about Socrative that are different than the other ones that we've seen today is, first of all, this room number that you see at the top of my screen. It is the same no matter what quiz, if you're doing a quiz, a space race, whatever you're doing in Socrative, you could print that and laminate it and put it up on your wall for the year, because your room number always stays the same, whereas all the other ones generate a new code every time you play them. So that's one nice thing that I really like about it. The thing that this does not have is the ability to find other public quizzes that teachers have created. You can share your quiz, like I could share my quiz with Marianne or with Beth or any of you, and then you could use it, but to be able to search and find lots of quizzes is not built into here. Okay. So this one not only has quizzes, it also has a
Okay.
I'll come over there and then I got one.
Hey, Marianne, can you mute your,
Junior high English, what's going on there?
Well,
Marianne, can you mute
get all the books off the.
Marianne? I don't know what to do, guys. I'm going to go ahead. All right, so there's space race and there's an exit ticket. So I've created some quizzes in here. Signed in. I like when you can sign in with Google. Okay, so if we look at the quizzes that I've done, I've created several quizzes here, and so I have the option to copy them, to download them, or like I said, I could share them with you if you wanted to use my quiz. So that's the only way that you can find quizzes if somebody decides to share it with you.
Going to blue screen without.
I'm going to go ahead and click on Space Race for this one, and when I do that, I can pick which quiz that I have to create the quiz somewhere else. But Space Race is different because it lets you, like I said, it lets you put them in teams. And that's one thing that Marianne didn't talk about was in Kahoot now, you, instead of having kids individually answer and make it competitive, you can also have the team aspect of that. So if you don't have one device per student in Kahoot, or in this one, you can team them up and they only have to use one device to answer, or they can use one device per team to answer. So on here, you can pick how many teams you want. If you have a big class or a small class, if I had 25 and I had 5 teams, then I can have it auto-assign, and the kids don't know whose team they're on until the game starts. Or I could do student choice and let them pick their teams. You can change, I know it's called space race, but you can change to different types of symbols. So you could have a bicycle race or a bee race or whatever it is that you want. And then again, you have some other options here for some additional settings. Now, when I start this, if you guys go to socrative.com and sign in with my room number up here, socrative.com with that room number, then once you start answering the questions as a team, then these things will move across. So first one to the finish line on the right wins. So that's just how the space race works. I'm going to finish out of there. Something else that we haven't talked about with any of these is that all of them have the ability for you to get a report so that you can see how students did at the end, what percentage they got right as a whole. Or you could say on question number 2, only 20% of my kids got that right. And so that's something I better reteach. So that is very helpful. So that's something we didn't point out in any of these, is where you can get those reports and the charts to be able to see which students need some help and which students have got it, so that they can go on to something different. So make sure you look for that when you're using all of these formative assessment tools. I'm going to go back to my launch here. They have exit tickets built in, and then you can also in this one ask some quick questions. So if you just have this up and running and kids are signed into your room, and I want to say, hey, true or false? Let me start here. True or false? I would just ask the question to you guys, true or false, it was a great weekend. So if you were signed into my room here and then you answered true, then I could see at a glance who got that right and who got that wrong, as far as class goes. Same with short answer and multiple choice. So this has a lot of different options. Exit ticket, I could see a lot of teachers using this one. They could set up an exit ticket quiz, and so that before kids can leave the room, they have to answer maybe 2 or 3 questions. And then you can see what you need to reteach or how much kids understood from the day. And you would use the quizzes that you've already set up. So you could set up a real quick 3-question quiz or 2-question quiz there. All right. So I like Socrative a lot. Like I said, you can go back and get reports.
We have to talk to Susan about.
And on this one, you can download your report, have it
download from the App Store,
or you can save it to Google Drive. And again, you can see individual students or question-specific answers.
When do you guys get out for Christmas? Oh,
Okay, the last one. Anybody have any questions so far? Do you want to take a Socrative quiz? I'm gonna stop sharing here. You guys interested in taking a Socrative quiz? Hey, Marianne, can you hear us? Marianne. Okay. All right. Let's. The last one that I want to show you real quick is, for those who haven't seen it, is Google quizzes.
Levi Wright, please report to the office. Levi Wright.
Okay, Google quizzes, as soon as you sign into Google Forms now, you have the option for your templates up here. They already have an assessment here or a blank quiz, exit tickets, worksheets, and course evaluation. So if you want to take something they already have and change it, like this one that says assessment, they use that lorem ipsum nonsense language. So all you have to do is click and change, you know, everything in there. And then you could add more if you want to. I've never used those before. I usually just go right to a blank quiz. All right. So let's see. As you know, in Google, you can do short answers, longer answers, multiple choice, box, drop downs, and upload files now. You've got a linear scale, multiple choice grid. So you have all of these options, but some of them are already self-reading when you do quizzes. So I'm going to do multiple choice for this one.
It would only be work through June.
Hang on, you guys. Let me see if I can text Marianne real quick and tell her to turn off her her microphone.
That would mean that if you gave up your job working wherever you were working, in 2019, you might not have a job at all.
Or you could have your own show on public television.
It doesn't say
Yeah, maybe
anything
not.
about that, and that would be a stretch, but maybe. Mhm. So they're looking for people who might be interested in that kind of a job, and they want us to send them some names of teachers.
Okay. All right. So I want to know if you guys know who was born in Avoca of these famous Iowans. Now I have to think of a third one this morning. I know John Glenn just died, and I know he's not from Iowa, but I'm going to put it on here just for now. So when you're making quizzes, you need to then add an answer key. So after you have your questions in here, you click down here on answer key, and then you choose the right one. And then that becomes your answer key. And then up here you set how many points that is. So that might be a 1-point question, or it could be a 100-point question, whatever you want. And then you can add the next question and go on from there. Now, when students take this quiz, when any of those that are able to be answered, like multiple choice, check.
Judy, excuse me, could you share your screen?
Oh gosh, thanks I forgot that part. Thanks, Sherry. Okay, so let me go back over that. This has not been a great webinar day today. So when you are asking questions, you need to, let me see, I'm going to edit this one. There's an answer key button down here. So you write in your multiple choice question, click on answer key, choose the right answer, and then up here in the right corner, you say how many points that answer is worth. So it will automatically grade those type of questions for you. So then you can go ahead and ask your next question. You guys know who was it that was from Clarinda that was the big band guy? Should have had these questions in my mind ahead of time.
Glenn Miller.
Ah, yeah. See, I got the John Glenn part. I knew it was Glenn something. All right, and this one I will do a drop down instead. Put in my options. And then, again, you click that answer key, put how many points that one question is worth, and pick the right answer. So that's how this one works. And then when students take the quiz, the thing I don't like about it is they don't get immediate feedback until they've taken all the questions and clicked on submit. And then they have the option to click on a link that shows them how they did on the quiz. So, you know, it's sort of immediate, but not as soon as you answer each question. How many of you have worked with this new Google Quizzes before, the quizzes feature? Anybody? No? So this was new as of last summer, and I think we have a lot of teachers that learn to use Google Quizzes and then have them graded with Flubaroo, which is an add-on, which still works, by the way, and it works great. But you can also do it this way, and this is just for, again, simple quizzes. And like I said, formative assessment would be the best way to do that. Don't know that I would use this for any summative assessment, but I guess that you could. Just because it can't grade your short answer or your longer answer paragraph type responses. So I'm going to stop sharing and just talk to you about one more. If you look at the s'more that I put there today, there's another type of formative assessment where kids don't need devices at all. And sometimes if you're changing it up and when you're doing formative assessment, it's kind of fun to just do something different. So the fifth one on that list, or the sixth one in s'more, is one called Plickers. And what the kids do is you give each kid a QR code, and it's got an A, B, C, D around the outside of it. And depending on if they think the answer is A, B, C, D, they turn it so that, for the example, this one, here's the letter A at the top. So if I think A is the right answer, I'm going to hold it this way because A is towards the ceiling. If I think the answer is C, then I would hold it up to the teacher this way. And then the teacher uses their cell phone or an iPad or some type of device that, with the Plickers app on it. And then they see all their students holding up their QR codes, and the teacher just has to then scan across the classroom with their phone or their device, and it gathers all of the answers, and the teacher can see on her phone, or his or her phone, exactly who answered what, because if it's right, they're green. If it's wrong, they're red on their phone. And so then you have immediate feedback as a teacher of which kids got that answer right. So that's called Plickers. I've seen a lot of teachers using these, again, just to change it up once in a while, or if your internet is a little bit iffy, it's kind of nice to use this. Again, you'd have to have internet or some type of service on your phone in order to gather that. But then you can go to the Plickers website, and it has a report for you on how each student did. And if you take each of these, they're all different. So let's see. So you can see that these two codes are very different from each other as far as how they look. But you can assign, like they're all numbered, like this is for number 6, but I could say, Seth, you always have number 6. So that whenever I look at it, I know that when I look for number 6, and I could have my information next to me, that was Seth's card. So Seth would keep this in his desk if I laminated it. And then whenever it was time to do a Plickers type question, then you guys would pull these out and then do your A, B, C, D. Again, it's just multiple choice, but it's something that's different. There are some other formative assessment tools out there like Quizalize, Quiz, A-L-I-Z-E. Pear Deck is a good one. There's a version for free. I know that Council Bluffs bought Pear Deck for their whole district. A Pear Deck's a lot like formative, which lets you move things around and draw and do those kind of things, but it does cost, but it's excellent. It's a very good one too. Have any of you that are joining us live today used any other digital formative assessment tools besides these that we've looked at today?
Judy, I've used Quizlet.
Yeah, and I know a lot of teachers that use that one. There's a new feature that somebody told me about in Quizlet, do you remember what that is, Sherry? There's something new that somebody was really excited about. I should have looked that one up because I know that a lot of teachers really like Quizlet. What do you like about it?
I haven't used it since last school year, but I used it a lot to, just for practice, and then I would print out and use the test part of it too on paper.
Anybody else use Quizlet? Did you, Seth, use that in your science class last year?
No, the main things that I used for formative assessments were Socrative and Google Forms before they had the quizzes feature on there. So that would have been really nice last year.
I think you could use, it would kind of be fun since you are coaches, it would be fun, I think, to maybe whenever you meet with your teachers and have either a meeting or a professional development or something, to maybe showcase a different one of these each time and have them take a quiz. Not that you're really grading them, but whether you're gathering some feedback from them or whatever, just so that they can experience some different types of formative assessment tools and go, oh, I can use that in my classroom. Oh, that was fun. Maybe my students would like that. So since I know I'm talking to you as coaches, I'm thinking that, those again might be something good for that. Now, Sherry, do you think Quizlet would be appropriate for something to get some feedback from teachers?
I usually used it more just as a review type of thing because it does develop flashcards, and so I think maybe one of these others would be good for more of a formative assessment.
Okay. How about you, Abby? Is there anything that you used? Or Nate? With your teachers?
I used, personally I've used Kahoot, and then in PD I've used the Google Forms. I think that's it, but I think I'll try them all throughout the spring PD.
Oh, Laura's with us too. Hi, Laura. I didn't see you there till just now. And has anybody used anything else? No? Well, I hope that today we gave you some good ideas and a good overview of some other tools that you can use just to change it up. And I hope that you will enjoy using these as coaches with your teachers. And then in turn, I hope that your teachers will use some of these with their students. So make sure you show them the reports that are available. And I was talking to a science teacher. I was in Colorado this week with my new granddaughter and was talking to my friend who's a science teacher at a big high school out there. And he was complaining about the fact that they're going to BYOD, bring your own device. And he said, I just don't have time when I'm, teaching science to, create, online quizzes and that stuff. And I said, Gary, this will grade it for you. Most of these will grade them for you. And you won't have to spend hours and hours after school doing all the grading. And he just kind of looked at me like, oh, never thought about that. So, it is something different, but I think it's a way to get kids involved and get them using their devices, whatever they are, but to just change it up a little bit and make it fun and game and do a little bit of gamification for some of them. So thanks for joining me today. Does anybody have any questions before we sign off? Okay. All right. Well, Marianne's going to have this recorded and put in YouTube, and then we'll put it on the webpage as an archive. So share this with your colleagues that couldn't join us today. Our next meeting is, I believe, January 27th. And let me look real quick. I think we're going to have the math teachers joining us that day, or our math consultants talking about technology and math, which is an area where I need lots of help. Let me see what we have here. Anybody have that in front of them? Oh, here it is. January 27th. Yep, math and tech. So that'll be starting at 9 o'clock, and it will be totally online. So hope you can join us there. And if I don't see you before then have a very Merry Christmas, and we'll see you in 2017. Thanks, everybody. And Marianne's going to have to stop the recording, so you guys can just click on leave meeting. Thanks, Marianne.